Hello.
So, hello everyone. I'm Srikanth. Hopefully, I'm audible to everyone. Please let me know if my voice is not coming properly.
Yes, sir, you audible.
Okay. So, in this session, we will be going through a tutorial as per the schedule related to introduction to Python. And let me start sharing my screen and then start the topic directly from there. So, I'm expecting my screen is shared. If not visible, please let me know. And so this is a more practical session related to Python. So we will be looking slides also throughout the session, and also we will see the collab to understand how particular syntax and how Python codes and are getting executed, and we'll also see the outcome of various syntax and Python instructions. So without wasting time, let's continue. And so again, hi everyone. I'm Srikanth here. Uh, Here is a postdoc researcher at IIT Patna with Asif Iqbal sir. And this is session about introduction to Python. So let's see the very beginning of how Python, very syntax of the statements that are defined in the Python program. And so, if we just quickly look at the what is Python, Python is a programming language very currently trending and popular in the computer science area. It is created long back in 1991 by Guido van Rossum. He's a Dutch computer scientist, and the main idea was to develop this language to be more user friendly and more human readable. So the syntax was quite simple for this one. So this programming language, the Python, consists of a vocabulary which consists of various keywords, if, for, print. So there are some 33, 35 keywords which used to define the instructions in the Python program, and then set of rules, grammatical rules, like there will be indentation or in which the instructions are to be defined and written in the programming file, and then they are going to be executed. So those instructions will be given to the computer program to perform various tasks. So if we want to understand why the Python is so popular and what is the percentage of user currently use, so this is 24 data by IEEE list of top programming languages. So we can see that the Python is far ahead from its competitors like Java, C and C++. So it's currently the most popular one in the computer science domain. So what can Python do? Python has a lot of usability. It can also like it can run on the server to create web application. There are some frameworks which are written for Python as a library like Django and Flask. Uh, it can also used along with other softwares and libraries to build various applications, like with the help of TensorFlow and PyTorch library. We can build neural network systems, neural network models to learn on the data and do various classification, clustering, and all kind of tasks. And we can also use libraries like Beautiful Soup and Scrappy to create web scrapers to access the data from the websites. With using Python, we can also handle uh, the access of data from the database like MySQL, or we can also read and write file with using Python programs. The data science is also a very important area where the Python is has a significant role of using it to do that. Like it can handle the big data with very popular libraries like Pandas, Das, NumPy, SciPy to perform various learning and classification and machine learning tasks. And the most important part about the Python is it can be used to develop a rapid prototype, because the core, the instructions, the syntax is so user friendly. We can use it to write program for any problem in no time, and that's why it is so popular, and also production ready software development language. So, other examples that we can understand this importance of Python, it is initially used to write the YouTuber. The YouTuber creators originally used Python for most of its part. The Dropbox is also primarily written in Python. The Instagram entire backend and the website written in Python. So this shows that why the Python is so significantly useful for many applications and problems. So about Python, it is available for all kind of platforms. We can run it on Windows, Mac, Linux, Raspberry, any kind of system which supports the general purpose processor. And it's designed for readability with the use of interpretation. So this is the syntax rule, means we have to write the instructions in the form of indent block by block, and the, then line by line the Python interpreter executes the instructions defined in the program. So we'll see with examples of related to various syntax and rules that we need to follow. So initially, currently two flavors of Pythons are there: Python 2, Python 3. Python 2 is 2.7. It's the older Python version, which is still available, but I think the support must have stopped for it. So Python 3 is more secure and more rich, feature-rich language, and so this is currently mostly used by the users and developers. So if we want to use how from where we can download in the Linux platform, it generally comes pre-installed most of the operating system. In Mac OS Windows, you may have to download it explicitly and install. And there is a beautiful framework Anaconda available, which provides the command line interface and GUI application to manage Python environment. So that is also many people prefer to uh, run Python in the system using Anaconda uh, software. So before moving into the practical problems on Python, let's try to see a very basic difference. What is compiler interpreter? Most of us are computer scientists, so we know there are two type of translators which converts high level language to low level language. The compiler is that translates high level programming language to machine level instructions, and generates executable code which is understandable by the machine and run on the processor. So this process is done in one go. That's why the compilers are faster. The compilation process is faster, which transform the high level program to low level instructions. Interpreter, it does that line by line, and that's why they are comparatively slower. Python is one of them, but due to the features and the human readability of the program, it, it gives a lot rich features to Python. So if we talk about more Python interpreter, Python is basically a interpreted language, means the same definition. It is going to process the Python program statement by statement, line by line. So how does it do that? It loads the Python interpreter first and send the Python commands. Those commands are nothing but the instructions in the Python program. and which are going to be interpreted by the Python interpreter. That's how the programs are executed, and uh, the functions and the variables defined in a Python program can be imported to other Python programs also. So there is a specific uh, utilization for that. We'll see with examples in the coming slides. So typically, if we want to see how these statements are written, how the functions are defined, so this is how the typical definition of a function that we define: the definition, the function name, and the variables that we want to pass to that function. So when your program is getting executed, which consists of set of function and some instructions or statements, then initially all the functions, they are just digested, means they are processed and kept into the memory, and the actual computation starts with the first statement. And as soon as these statements are going to be executed, somewhere those functions will be called. The control of the interpreter will transfer to that function, and that's how the execution goes on in the given program. So some resources that we can follow up to learn more about how to use Python and install it. So, and there is also book on Python 3 and Python 2. Python 3 book by Mark Pilgrim. It is available on this link. Python 2 by Alan Downey. Although it is old book, but very good to read and learn what motivates to develop this language. So learning cannot be done theoretically. So we need to see practical instructions of the Python code as soon as possible. So we must write and execute code, and let's go further. So now we'll be seeing more practical examples on the Python. Let's explore and learn about it. The outlines, the various examples that we are going to see in today's session is like we'll see the very simple program, how being written and executed. Then we try to understand the data types, various variables that are uh, we can define, and expressions that we can write, list and tuples, very important examples, the string operations that we can do. So after today's this session, we'll have uh, like basic knowledge about how to write the Python programs. So yeah, like for any programming language, the first program is always the hello world program. So if we want to print a hello world in Python, this is how the syntax is. And the print command tells the interpreter that the string inside the passed in that function should be printed on the cell output, or out as output of this program. So if we don't write this the instructions properly, we get different type of errors. The two types of error, basically the syntactic error, when you don't write the syntax properly. Maybe you pass the keywords which are not defined in with the Python interpreter, or uh, there are some errors or mistakes related to the indentation. You do not indent properly your code. So such kind of errors comes. They are related to syntactic. But when the error is related to the data, or the variables that you pass, so like in place of hello world, if we pass hello dunya, so that may not be expected, and it is considered as a semantic error. So let's quickly see how we can execute it on the collab. So this is the how we can write the print hello world statement in Python, and if we want to execute it, yeah, we'll see the output there. And if we execute this, the next one, so it will tell us that there is a syntax error. There is an error because the print is not defined. We have made error here. So this is the case language, means the small case and uppercase characters have different form. So now when we write the syntax properly, we can and execute it. So we get the output. So yeah, so if the Python has certain keywords which are used to write the syntax for the Python code, so in Python 3.11, which is the current stable version of Python, it consists of 35 keywords. And if you want to see the list, we can just click over here and it will show us. Yeah, so these are the list if you count 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, 7, 5, 3. And if we want to see the keyword, we can also print the list of keywords here. So we need to import keyword library, and then we can print these numbers. So let's execute it again. So we see that there are total 35 keyword which are there in the keyword list, and those are false, none, true. So these are all the variables defined in the by in the interpreter that we use to write in our program. Like for is for loop, global is for defining global variable, if is for defining if else condition, import is for importing a specific library. So that's how it is defined. Let's move on. Yeah, so that we were talking about the keywords, and there is also set of rules how the user identifies files can be written. Identifier nothing but the name given to class, functions, or variables that the user define in their program. So certain rules we need to follow, like the variable cannot start with digit. With one variable it is invalid identifier, and variable if the digit comes in between, so then it is valid. No problem. Variable one is a valid identifier defined by the user. Keywords cannot be used as identifier. Like global is already defined as a keyword in the Python interpreter, so it cannot be used as a variable or identifier in the Python. Cannot use special symbols like this one in our identifier, like a at the rate. We cannot write any variable like this. We will get a syntax error. Uh, Variable generally can be of any length. So we can write variable length any number of characters that Python statement and indentation. Yeah. So Python also provides flexibility to define a statement in a like one line statement. For example, a is equal to 1. So in this statement, what is happening? Just assigning value 1 to the variable a. We can also split the statement into multiple lines by using the continuation character. This is slash character. So what is happening here is a is equal to 1 plus 2 plus 3, and if this, because this expression is getting very longer, so we can move to the next line, continuing the statement, just using this continuation character. So ultimately when this entire statement is executed, the sum of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 9 is added and assigned to this variable. So that's how it is defined. We can see some examples here as well. Yeah, simple, a bit different, but the idea is same. Like we want to make sum of 5, 3 to 4, many numbers. So we can define them into multiple lines, and when we execute them, we'll get the sum of all these numbers assigned to the variable. So that's how the statement multi-line is built. Okay, yeah, let's move to the next one. Indentation is a very important part of Python because this is how the block of coding has been defined. Like when you write a for loop, This for loop is a simple for loop which is uh, going from 1 to 11. So the variable I, which is uh, will have value starting with 1, 2, 3, and it will go up to 11. And each value of I in each loop, the value of I will be printed. And after printing, it will check the condition. If I is equal to 5, so as soon as this condition is true, get out of the loop. So this is what is happening in this. So let's see. Let's have a copy from here. So if we execute it, yeah, we can see it has printed certain numbers, and as soon as the condition satisfied, because of this break statement, it gets out of the for loop. So that's how the indentation is being used to define the various block of code. So uh, the rule is that amount of indentation is up to us. Like if we want, we can define the indentation of 4 spaces or a tab or any longer sequence of space, but it should be consistent. Like after the first line, we have used 4 space of indentation. So all the lines which follow this block should have the same number of indentation. And again from this line, there is again 4 space, and then the next block of code is started. So this kind of indentation rule has to be satisfied. Next very important part of the this session is to understand the types, various types which is used in the Python. So there are different type of data types which are defined by the Python interpreter. It can be an integer, it can be a float, it can be a complex number. Uh, we'll see with the examples, and we can to find out the type of any function or variable. We can use this type function, and if the variable is an object of a particular class, then we have to use is instance function, which give us the information about of the object, if it is written, if it belongs to a particular class. Yeah, for example, this one. So suppose we have defined a is equal to 5, and we want to know what is the type of a. Let's execute it. Yes, 5 is the type of class A. So it shows that the value 5, which is assigned to A, made the this variable A as a class of integer. And when we assign 2.0, so it is because it is a float variable, so we get the type of variable A here as a float. So this is also a beauty of Python. Means when we execute a statement, based on the value that we assign to variable, the type of that variable is determined dynamically. So like here we are assigning a complex number, and if you want to check whether it is complex or not, so because it's a class to which this variable belongs, so we need to use is instance of complex class. And we can also print the type of a, and let's see if we execute it. So here it says that this value 1 plus 2j is a complex number. Yes, true. And if we want to know the type of this variable a, it's complex. So this is how the type is defined. Few more examples, like a type of 11 integer, type of 11.11, again it is a float. Here, if we have a string hello world and we want to know its type, definitely it's going to be string. Yeah. Next important thing comes into is the type conversion. Like if there are numbers which are stored in a variable as a string, and we want to convert into the integer, so there is a type conversion process which is also known as typecasting. We can use it to convert. So there are two types of type conversion: implicit type conversion and explicit type conversion. Let's see how both are done in the Python program and what their significance. So implicit type conversion, as the name suggests, it's done automatically. Uh, like when we do the summation of two variables, one consists of integer like 1, 2, 3, and another consists of a float 1.2. So when the sum of these two happens, the output will automatically be a float number. That's the rule is defined in the Python. So it automatically transform the expected variable and make the sum according to that. Uh, like here, so we have 1, 2, 3 integer float, and uh, let's if you want to know the type of this variable and the summation of variables. So see the output. So the first variable is integer, second variable is float, and when we do the sum, we get the 124.23. And if we also know the output of this output variable, it is again float. So here the typecasting or type conversion is happening implicitly. We are not transforming the first one to float and then do the summation. So the conversion of the first integer is to float is happening by itself. Let's move to the next one, the explicit conversion. Explicit conversion is a typecasting process where we convert the given variable to desired data type uh, by explicitly by defining the instruction for that. Like suppose we want to convert a string to integer. So then the syntax would be integer and then the variable or identifier that we want to convert or expression that we want to convert from string to. So let's example for that. Yeah, here only some example. Like for example, a is equal to 5 here, so definitely it is integer. And here we are converting into float explicitly because we have defined the float function and then passed the variable a. So now when we find out the type of variable a, it is going to be uh, float. So this is the example of we can say the explicit type. Okay, next move to the expressions and variables. So this is very important part because here we will see how the expressions or the statements are found in the Python and how that will see with the example. So expressions it describe a type of operation that computer need to perform, and are operations that Python performs. For example, the arithmetic operation, the adding, subtraction, multiplication, and many others. So, for example, we want to make add three numbers 60, 40, 25. So we can write it as a expression like 60 plus 40 plus 25 and the assigning the output to a particular number. So this combinedly will be called as a considered as a state expression or state. 25 divided by 5. Uh, this is also an expression 25 double slash 6. So this is a specific type of operator which perform the division but the output would be rounded off. So 25 double slash 6, it divisions, the output would be 4 point something, but ultimately what we see here is the 4 is. So if we want to see, yeah, so we can easily understand it. If we want to see the variables, how we define them is a name location used to store data in the memory. It is helpful to think of variable as a container that holds data that can be changed later as a program. So the variables are user-defined identifier, which can store the output of an expression or a constant. Like for example, here we are storing 10 number to this variable number. Uh, Similarly, we can assign the float number also. So that's how the variables are defined in the Python program. Assigning values to the variables is simple. We just have to define the identifier equal symbol and then the object or any string or number, whatever we want to assign. So because so we already discussed it. So this is actually the Python is a type inferred language. So what it says, the type inferred language means when we define a variable and assign some value to it. So when the Python interpreter executes this statement, it dynamically identifies what type of data we are assigning to it. So it the type inference is happening at the runtime. uh, Changing the value of a variable, yes. So suppose initially we assign some value to a variable, later on we can change it. We can change, like initially the apple.com was the value assigned to this website variable. It can be changed to programmers.com. So that's how it's done. So the assigning multiple values. Yeah, this can also be done. Like suppose there are three variables that we want to initialize together with different values. So we can do that in a one go, in a one statement. A comma B comma C is equal to 5 comma 3.2 comma hello. So that's how it's being done. And when we print all these three variables, we get the output of the values that we have assigned. Yeah. Constants is a type of variable whose values cannot be changed. It is helpful to think of constants. You can think of constants as a bag of store some books to which cannot be replaced once placed inside the bag. So it is also a variable, but when we define that variable as a constant, uh, it its value will be fixed throughout the execution of the program. Assigning value to constant in Python. So how it is being assigned? So simply defining a variable and assigning uh, value for to that variable 3.14 or 9.8. Uh, so that's how it's being done. But we also have to import the constant library and then access those variables as a constant.py constant variable. And by the syntax nature, they have to be written as a capital character. So which will make sure that people understand that like pi capital P capital I is a constant, capital gravity all the letters are there, so it is also considered as a constant. Next very important thing comes is list and tuples. So till now we have seen how to define the variables, how to assign the values and expressions to a particular value. But suppose we want to store like various elements together to a variable, how we can do that? Like sometimes we have a list of or set of numbers, set of strings, or set of many things. We can use tuples and lists to store. So list and tuples, these are the two very known compound data types, are one of key types of in the data structure that that I used in the Python. And tuples are ordered sequence, and there are some specific properties which make it different from the list. We'll see with examples what are those which makes it, both of them are different, because they have many similar characteristics, because both of them, tuples and list, they store many different items together. And there is one difference, we'll see with examples in the slides. So here one example is given, the ratings, which is being assigned with a set of numbers. So those numbers are 10, 9, 6, 5, 10. So yeah, so these are the ratings of some reviews or something. So we have assigned like these 7 or 8 numbers to it. In Python, we have different data types, Disco, and so that we'll see with the examples in the top. So if we assign, and this can also be done, we can assign different type of elements to the tuple variable. Like we can assign the string, we can assign the number, we can assign the float together, and that's also, and it is similar to both list and tuples. They can store different type of uh, constant, different type of objects together into the list, and that's what here is happened. Like tuple one is a user defined variable, and we are assigning a tuple of three elements. One is string, another one is number, the last one is float 4.5. And if we want to access any of these elements, we can access like this with defining index. Tuple zero is this. Uh, when we access the tuple zero, it will show the disco as an output. So that's how the tuple is being defined. And there are certain operations that we can do. We can concatenate multiple tuples together. Like suppose there is one tuple is already defined, which consists of three elements: disco, 12, 4.5. So it consists of three elements. and and if we concatenate with another tuple which consists of hard rock and 10, and after doing this concatenation, we can see now we have five elements into the output tuple. Okay. So this is another operation with the tuple. We can also do the slicing. Slicing means accessing certain part of the tuple. Like we want to get only the first three element of the tuple. So we can do that 0 to 3. So this uh, by defining, by slicing, defining the slice of the tuple, we will be getting only three values as an output. 3 to 5, it will give the last two elements of the tuple, hard rock and 10. If we want to print the length of the tuple, we can simply use the length function, len, and pass the tuple to, and it will give the number of elements which are there in the tuple variable. Yeah, so this was one of the characteristic I was talking about. Tuples are immutable. So this makes it different from the list, because in the list we can, after defining a list, we can modify at any location, any element we want. But in the tuples, we cannot do that. Um, like the tuples are immutable, so it means we cannot change them. We cannot go into a particular location and update its value. That's not possible. Like a rating is a tuple of these values 10 9 6 5 10 5 4 and 0 1 2. So at the second, the two index consist of 6, and suppose we want to update it with 4. If we try to do that like this, it will give error. Okay, so let's see if we have example. Yeah. So this is the rating consists of values 10965, and if we execute it, it will have, and if suppose we access the third element, so 0 1 2 3, yes, at the third location it has 5. Suppose we want to update it with a 6, which is 5. We want to update it with 6, and run it again. Yeah, it's giving the same. So tuple object does not support items. So because the tuples are immutable, we cannot access any index or change the value. So it has to be done, like we can concatenate, we can do slicing and all, but updating any value is not that this property is actually immutable because of it. Nesting is also possible. Nesting means tuples inside the tuple. A tuple can have multiple tuples inside that. So this is tuple defined where the elements are 1, 2. The third element is again a tuple. Fourth element is again a tuple. Uh, the next element is again a tuple, and which again contains a tuple. So this is a more diverse tuple example. And suppose if we do this and do 2, so it will access the element which is at the second, so which is pop and drop. This is this third element of this tuple. And if we want to access the pop, so we have to go and do 2 and then do 1. So it will give rock. That's how the nesting of tuple can also be done. Means tuple inside the tuples and any number of. So that's why they are kind of heterogeneous. We can have a number, a float, or a string, or again a tuple inside a tuple. So that make it more versatile and useful for many different tasks. Yeah, so after discussing about the tuples, let's talk about the list. List is again has ordered sequence of items, and it is one of the most used data type and very flexible. And similar to tuples, we can assign diverse different type of elements to it. A list can have inside a tuple. List can have a list inside into it, and the items can be of any type. For example, here a is equal to 1.2.2 Python. So one element is integer, another is float. So these are the the same thing which is there in the tuple. So on one property where tuples were immutable, the lists are mutable. So we can access any element and update its value. That's possible with the list, and that made it more useful. So list contains strings float, yeah, as I told. So it is heterogeneous, so it can assign any element to into the list. So list can have a string, can have float, integer, can have also a list, can also have a tuple. So how we can access a particular element? We can access with index like L0. So L consists of three elements. So first element we can access with L0, second element L1, L2, and we can also use minus indexing. So minus 1 is the last element, minus 2 is the second last element, minus 3 is the third last element. So whatever number of items in the list, we can access that like this. Similar to tuples, slicing is also possible in the list. We can access any sequence of items on the list by defining the index, like 3 to 5. So 3 to 5 means, yeah, the last two, the index from 3 to 5, one less than 5. Yeah, similar to tuple, the concatenate operation, we can concatenate two lists also, like here, Michael Jackson 10.1 1982. We can concatenate it with the pop 10, and yeah, so after concatenation, it will have five elements. Lists are mutable. Yes, saw we. So what feature it gives to the list is we can access any element and update its value. That's possible. So lists are therefore we can change. Every time we apply a method to the list, method means concatenation or removing some elements from a any kind of the operation defined for list. When we perform, it updates the list, means mutate the list. That's one of the property. If we apply extend, we add two elements to the list. Every time the list is going to be modified, mutate to a different list. If we append any element to it, again the list is going to be a, a new list is going to be generated and assigned as an output to the. So these are the some of the operations that perform as in a list. Yeah, so there is also a possibility string to list. When a string, a sentence, or paragraph is given, we can use a split function on that by passing any character. By default, it split the given piece of text by the space. So hard rock is a string, and when we call the split function, it will divide it by the space between hard and rock, and we will get the two strings list of a string as an output. So it returns list as an output. We can use the split function to separate strings on a specific character. Yeah, as I told you, suppose this is the string a comma b comma c d. So this is a string and we want to split the string by the comma. So we can pass the comma character into the split function. So based on it, it will return a list of four characters a b c d. Aliasing, multiple names referring to the same object is known as aliasing. So yes, suppose there is a list assigned to A, we can assign to as an expression to B. So B and A will now point to the same list. So only the names are different, but ultimately they are pointing to the same list. So this property is known as aliasing. Clone. You can clone a list by using the following syntax. Uh, yes, cloning means creating a replica of that list. So in this, A will point to this, B will point to different lists. Although the elements would be same, but so this is the difference, like cloning and aliasing. Aliasing is just giving different name to the same thing, but cloning is creating copies. Okay, so that was the about examples of list and uh, tuples. Now, the last topic of today's session, which is string operations, is also very important. Like what different string manipulations that we can do. So in Python, first of all, the strings can be written into different lines. Like it can be a single line string. Similarly, we can define a set of characters inside a single quote or double quote. And we have also this feature in the Python to define multi-line strings. For that, we need to use triple quotes, triple single quotes or triple double quotes. Here we can define multi-line strings like this. So both will be a string, but the only difference is one is single line, what is multiple line. A string is a sequence of characters. Yeah, we know that already. Sequence of characters, which can be space or special symbol or any alphabetical characters. You could also use single quotes. Yes, single quotes, double quotes, both have the same meaning and special characters. That's how these strings are defined in Python. And we can bind or assign a string to another variable. It is helpful to think of a string as an ordered sequence. Yes. So as we know, we can also think a string as as an array or list of characters, and we can access any character with the index. Like we name index 2 will return the character C as an output. Each element is sequentially accessed through this. We can also access the last element by the -1 index. We can visit the negative indexing similar to the list. So that's possible. Slicing, yeah, similar to list and tuples, we can access a specific part of the string, like the first four characters will return mesh. 8 to 12 will return this 8 to 12 index will return the this four characters JACK. The strings are immutable. Yeah, so that property which is similar to the immutable property of tuple means we cannot update any the index value in this given string. That's not allowed. Or any slice of the string. We cannot update inside due to this property. If we want to print the length, we can simply use the len function and pass the string into that. So it will print the total characters, including the white space, and print give that number as an output of this. Concatenation is also there, similar to the list and tuples. We can concatenate two strings together, and when we concatenate them, they will be concatenated without any white space. So we have to also take care of that. Like when we combine, like concatenate Michael Jackson is the best. So we also have to take care of the white space. So somewhere we need to add it, and that's how after concatenation we get it. So we can replicate values of a string. We can simply multiply the string by the number of times. So that's also a possibility. Like suppose we want to print uh, Michael Jackson n number of times. So this string multiplication of n will, if we just do that, execute like in the Python, so it will print n number of times Michael Jackson. Escape character, yeah, that has to be understood. Escape characters are actually the white space. They're also known as white space characters. It's slash n, so the new line character slash t is a tab. Uh, yeah, so to define the escape characters, we have to use this slash character in front of that. Slash n means here the interpreter will understood that in the string Michael, after Michael there is a new line character and then Jackson. So when it is printed, so it the output will come on two lines. The tab job is also the same. So here it will insert a tab between these two uh, sequence of characters. So Michael, print tab, and then Jackson. And suppose it the case where we also want to print the slash character, the escape character. So we can use on the pair of escape characters. So this will tell the Python interpreter that here we want to print this escape sequence as a character. So for every pair of escape sequence, only one escape sequence is going to. So yes, so here we have pair of escape print. So it will only print only one, and we can also use R uh, before the string. So it will we no need to write the double slash here. So all the escape characters will be considered if we just write R in front of the string. So both will print the same output. So that's how the escape characters are being used to define with the slash, in front of slash and slash t and other type of escape characters. There are certain methods which are very useful. Like if we want to convert a string all letters to uppercase, we can use simply that variable dot upper function. So it will convert then all the characters into that. This is a string to capital. If we want to convert to the lower case, we can just simply call the lower. And if we want to replace certain set of characters to the certain set of characters, like this to that. So when inside the string, wherever it finds this, it will replace this with that. So that's kind of very useful methods that we can use with the this function, any string sequence of characters, and we can perform into that. So with that, we have seen plenty of examples to start with the Python, whether it is related to uh, understanding the different data types of the Python variables that we want to define, and uh, different variables and rules for defining variables, various keywords that are defined in the Python interpreter. We have also seen examples of list and tuples, how which can be of heterogeneous or symmetric nature. And we also seen the typecasting, is how we can convert the different data types from one to another, and string operations, list and tuples operations. So we have seen plenty of things related. We can start with the Python, and we will also share this collab. You can directly check all those examples and know how the and play around how those are executed, and develop your own examples. So with this, would like to thank you, and also if any doubt or any confusion you get during the talk, just let me know. We'll see with the examples. Yeah, when and how get these slides. Yeah, we told you. So by the end of today, we'll collect all the PPTs and the collabs, uh, all the tutorial materials we'll be sharing. Okay, so by the end of the day.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, Shrikant, actually, for non-coding background, how we can practice this easily?
Mm. Yeah, for non-coding background people, it will be difficult to start any new programming language. But the syntax that we have seen, and starting from the very basic, how to define the variables and how to assign the values to the variables, and yeah, slowly, it will take time. But if we just practice with some of the examples, and uh, watching some set of examples that will help understanding. And Python is a more user friendly, so it will not take much time to learn about it.
So please share some exercises, examples.
Yeah, sure, sure. We have some examples, and we have also some collab notebooks. So we'll share with all the participants, and they can practice and learn.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. Yes.
Uh, Thank you for the informative talk. Uh, I know that you are working in NLP. Can I ask you something related to that?
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
So I was quite interested in knowing the scenario of current technology in implementation for Indian languages.
Okay.
So I read few of your papers on Indic language. So I was curious to understand whether in the current research space, when you implement anything for Indic languages, are you first translating English language to the Hindi language in order to implement any model, or do you directly implement word implement
Yeah,
that kind of
yeah. Mm. I got your doubt, and it's very intuitive and insightful question you asked. And yeah, as you asked about how to implement the model or use any given model for specifically Indic languages. So I would like to tell you that yeah, few years ago that was the more problematic when the data was not more and the models were specifically designed like that, like which were of word embedding based models. And for that we have to find out the specific embedding model which can generate embedding vector for the given set of keywords. So in that kind of scenario, it was more challenging. First, you have to build up word embedding models for that and generate word embedding for the keywords. But now today's the uh, various large language models, like whether it is transformer, the bird model, or any larger model, or any kind of large language model that we see today, whether it is llama or something. So maybe for the other audience, this question is very specific, but I will give you just brief answer, and we can discuss more about it on the sideline of it, because may not be interesting for all the you participants here. So let's complete the answer. So many of the large language models they are trained on multiple languages, so they have capability of processing many of the world language, whether it's Chinese or Hindi or English. And with the provided context they are better able to generate the representation. And when you have the representation of your text, you can use it to perform any other operation, like if you want to perform the classification, or you want to perform the classification, or you want to just generate a sequence of words on your given input. So that many operations. So now the NLP research with the available resources and available models is easier, but also challenging. Hopefully, my answer was very abstract and may not give you the entire detail, but we have to like talk about in a more detailed way so that I can say.
Thank you. Can I connect with you over this later, anytime later?
Send me email so we can have some yeah, more specific topics sometime. We'll,
Okay. Thank you so
both will
much.
be available. Hopefully you have my email ID. So if you don't, I will just write on the chat.
I have your website. I follow your work.
Okay, perfect. normally.
Thanks.
So yeah, so
Hello.
if there are no, yeah, anyone?
Yes, sir. Sir, this is Ravi. So I have one question, sir. Like, could you just, please tell me, like, those who are just, from the non-technical background and, with the non-technical background, just, want to just get into the, NLP and machine learning. Then, so how could I just, relate, like my background is, the language, like linguist, as a linguist, a German linguist, English linguist, and Hindi linguist. How could I just, get into this, NLP and machine learning? So just, please advise me and help me, regarding this.
Mm. Yeah, I understood. So to learn the basics of the NLP, if you want to, you're not pure maybe computer science background or may not be like related to NLP as a research background. So my suggestion would be to get first of all some theoretical idea. Although you can start with the practical, but some part of theory is, at the starting level is important. So there are very good NLP courses available that you can go. I can share the link also. Uh, like on NPTL also, there are a lot of NLP courses available, which can give you very beginning idea about like how the uh, NLP problems are started, how the text representation is better represented for machine like readable and understandable. And so yes, you can go through them. Like there is NLP course by Nitesh Khapra on the NPTEL, uh, which is very basic and very beginners level. From the Stanford also, like there is an NLP team and Professor Christopher D. Manning, who also teach NLP like every alternate year. So from there also you can take some materials, video lectures. They also share very basic examples and assignments. If you practice them, it will be very good idea to learn the basics, and slowly you will build up and go through more complex and research oriented problems.
So could you please, share those links, so I could go through it?
Yeah, sure. I think we have already formed the group. So what I will make sure is on the group I will share as an email, as a resources and all links that people can follow. And in throughout this Gyan course also, the tutorials are designed like that. It will give you very basic examples to understand the insights. The people who are not also belong to this NLP area, they can also easily grasp it. Like in today's Python, it was very basic and very beginners level to understand how what is the Python syntax and how the Python statements are written. So hopefully, all the participants now are they should be comfortable in at least writing very basic instructions and understanding it, whether it is loop, for loop, or whether it is conditions, or whether it is simple expressions of summation or like that, or defining list or something like that. So now you know the basic we can say idea about writing Python. Similarly, in the coming tutorials, when you participate and learn and go through all of them, you will get the basics of different part. Like there will be NLP, basics of NLP will also be there with examples. So there we will be giving you examples how the syntax, how the various statements and NLP techniques and representation techniques which are there to understand and use various NLP problems and examples. So it will give you very abstract and beginner's idea how to start.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So with this, the next tutorial, which is related to basis of machine learning, and with that there will also be including lectures of basis of NLP. So uh, that will give you a basic background about the NLP, basic NLP problems, and how the machine learning methods approach to those basic NLP problems. So it will give you more better and extension to what we have seen in the Python. So because all the examples will use the Python as a programming language. So now this tutorial session has given you that setup, that background, and now based on it we'll discuss on different problems and getting more into the NLP domain in the coming tutorial. So there will be one tutorial today, just few minutes, maybe 4 o'clock. Yeah, so there we'll see more practical examples specifically related to NLP. Okay, so hopefully all of your doubt, because they are related to NLP. So in the coming tutorial sessions, which will be more related to that, and you will more it will be more interesting and enjoyable for you. Okay, so see all of you in the next session, which is going to be started in 15 or 20 minutes, and just be uh, online.